Right. Super excited to be here, grateful to be here, have this opportunity to talk to you a little bit. When I was asked if I would do this, I said sure, and I was very excited for a couple reasons. One, we're working with Procter & Gamble. I obviously have the opportunity to represent a company that's bringing a lot of jobs and economic impact to the area. We have a small little project down the street that's going on right now. A lot of dirt, and it's pretty exciting, so that's obviously directly related. But two, as you heard, so I have kind of a large family. So 6 children, and 4 are currently in the public education system in Jefferson County. And obviously this strikes home, right? My children going to school, what and how they learn, and how that translates into their future, and obviously our community and prosperity therein. So, excited to be here. What I want to do is essentially walk through and take you guys through my story, my path, a little bit about formal and informal educational opportunities, and then how that drives certain behaviors, and those behaviors and how I connect that to P&G. What behaviors we look for in the professional business setting as we look to hire the best people to come and enable this project to happen. So, let me start by saying I believe one key purpose in life that people look for is, why am I here? And it is to learn and to serve. My alma mater has a motto that says, enter to learn, go forth to serve. And I think that's important. Now there's various paths of how we can accomplish this, objective, and everybody has a little bit different path, and that's okay. There's more than one way to Rome, right? When we get on this path, whichever way it is, obviously, then it opens a lot of doors and opportunities. And those opportunities obviously help us individually, help our families, help our community, and really create this perpetual cycle of self-sufficiency and economic and community prosperity, so it all comes together. So, my path. So I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and I completed K through 12 all there. I moved on to Utah, went to Brigham Young University where I received my undergraduate degree in history, business minor. Many that knew me thought maybe I'd have a minor in like being a social butterfly too, so I had a lot of fun. It was great. Then I went and worked with my father franchising Popeye's chicken restaurants. We can talk that later if you're interested, why that's great Cajun profile. And then I went back to school. So when my brother called me the Popeye's Prince, pride got to me, and I'm like, I gotta go figure this out again on my own. So I'm back to BYU, because I'm not that creative, and I completed an MBA degree, emphasized in organizational behavior and human resources. So that's my formal education. Great, 19 years of glory, loved it, had a blast. And then as I look at the informal education, though, that I received, I think about things like I participated in and out of school of sports. I did music. I had Cub Scouts, I had Boy Scouts, I had service groups, and then one group that sticks out particularly is the Special Olympics. So in high school I was a sophomore, and yep, there was a link through school, one of the societies, honor societies or clubs that, hey, you can do some service. But my brother had done it and found out about it, and it was just the right thing to do, and it was a great opportunity. So my mother, my older brother, and myself drove once a week for a few months each year to go down and help out a group of Special Olympians that were doing basketball, my favorite sport, and really had the opportunity to help coach them and play with them. That was the structure. Now, as a 15-year-old kid, it's pretty intimidating to go in there with really a group of adults. They had unique, various backgrounds and disabilities, and I had to get in there and really relate with them and understand and help them, and it was challenging, and I had to figure out how to do that and to be a leader and to do all these different things. But it really taught me all those skills, and I'm grateful for that opportunity informally that I had to learn and to gain valuable behaviors that took me through life and were really important to me. Sports, so I love sports. I love playing sports. I love coaching sports. My children learn sports in school. So my daughter has had the opportunity and privilege to be in track and volleyball and basketball in the middle school, which is great, and I see the development in her as she learns things, as she grows. And as I look at that she's learning formally in educational classroom setting, and I look at that informal educational opportunities, it's unique and exciting to see her grow and develop so fast. And my point is, as we look at the importance of education and learning, there's so many ways to go about it. So I've already talked about a few of those aspects, but if you think of how do you develop teamwork? How do you become a leader? How do you problem solve, critically think, prioritize, deal with conflict, deal with challenge and upset and failure? How do you do that? There's a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of paths. But as I think about this and I was preparing for this topic, really to me, that principle, and especially those direct extracurricular activities that are fostered through formal education and out, is the one way to accomplish that. And even if you take the principles of putting people in unique dynamic group settings, opportunities to speak or to lead or to make choices, that kind of principle can be applied obviously directly into our formal educational classroom settings and curriculum. And that's one way that you can really foster those behaviors into our youth. They can carry with them. And carrying with them is critical. So if I shift, well, let me not shift gears yet. So 2 more points on that. So I was curious about, well, I have an opinion on that. I've seen it personally, but is there any legitimate data or other people's opinions out there that might support that? And I found 2 things. So one is the National Center for Educational Statistics, an older study, but it really did correlate people that are engaged in extracurricular activities develop these skills, behaviors, and really have higher expectations and outcomes. So a couple of the outcomes. Those that do that are 15% less likely to have unexcused absences or skip class. They're 20% more likely to have a GPA of 3.0 or higher. They are 15% more likely to have a higher math and English or reading assessment score, and are 20% more likely to move on and receive a bachelor's degree. So there's a correlation. Then I was talking to a friend at work today, and he had brought up a book that he read by Carol Dweck, who's a famous Stanford psychologist professor. And she wrote a book, and it really talks about a growth versus a fixed mindset. So people that do all these things, and there's a lot of ways to do that, don't get me wrong. I happen to be using the example of extracurricular activity. But that growth mindset, what else can I do? How else can I do that? That provides people in our youth with the excitement to want to do more and be more. But if you have a fixed mindset where you're just like, well, I'll just do the minimum possible. I'll go to class, I'll check the box, and I'll go home and play video games. Really, that can create the mindset, the behavior of not stretching and growing, and therefore limiting your potential in the doors that path you've chosen will bring. So, a couple examples there. Now, if I shift gears, just checking, to Procter & Gamble. A little bit of background for those that may not know. So we have a little project down the street. It's going to be on 450 acres of land. So far to date, we've hired 88 local new hires from the surrounding area. And with transfers and new hires, we've brought in over 175 people so far to the site. And we're on target to hire another 130 people locally this calendar year, and then have 700 hired locally by the end of 2019. And that's the P&G direct impact, not to mention construction, suppliers, vendors, and all the residual impact that lasts forever. So that's exciting. It's a big project, and we have a lot of people we have to hire, like I mentioned. What we look for, out of all the many things we could be looking for, like we have a standard process and criteria, but at the end of the day, we look for attitude and aptitude. That's all we want. Sure, we could go look for people that just have manufacturing backgrounds because, hey, they have the skill, that's what we're doing here, manufacturing, why not go for them? But I could hire a manufacturing background that has a horrible attitude that doesn't fit our team dynamic and culture, and the whole thing falls apart. So it's critical that we look at that. That's what we're after. Now, we do have basic requirements where you have to have at least a high school diploma or GED, so there is that foundational baseline. But then beyond that, those behaviors that we look for drive, will you get hired? Will you be a successful member of Procter & Gamble? Now with that said, let me do a tangent. Obviously people that come with some of those skills and backgrounds, in addition to that attitude and aptitude, is just an ideal fit, it's gold. So let me use the example of Blue Ridge College if I can. So Blue Ridge College has a fantastic 2-year mechatronics program. So this program will get our candidates the ideal technical skills. But because I know the program enough, it also gets them skills of leadership and the opportunity to work in teams and develop those behaviors that I mentioned. It's really a match made in heaven. So the behavior is the gold, the technical skill is the silver. I can teach the silver, I can't teach the gold very well, it's more difficult. But I bring those together, it's fantastic. So those students that go through that program successfully probably have a way better chance to not only get through my hiring process, but will be a great sustained employee and have a career with Procter & Gamble. That's what we're looking for. Now, all my applicants, I have many people that do have manufacturing, logistics, warehousing background, but I've got a lot of teachers and bankers and students right out of high school. The spectrum is huge. And again, that attitude and aptitude that drives it and really is exciting as we try to hire people there. So to close it up here, I know my time is short. The behaviors is what we look for, and I think as we look at our educational systems, the formal and informal opportunities that are there is to continue to realize how we go about setting up the opportunities and how we ensure that they have the full student opportunity in and out of school, after school, you name it, and that we foster those behaviors. And if we don't, we end up having people that perhaps are in a fixed mindset. They just go in there, and as they try to get into the workforce, they might not be as prepared as they should be. They might not be able to speak to those experiences that they've had or should have had. And I realize everybody comes from various backgrounds and opportunities, and not everybody has those opportunities. So the challenge I give us is, after hearing my opinion here on this topic, what can each of us do to really take action and go figure out a way to enable somebody else, one person maybe, to find those opportunities to grow themselves and develop. And please don't think, well, my neighbor will do it and sit idle because somebody else is doing it. Somebody else in Charleston, somebody else somewhere else probably is going to go do that. I don't have to worry about it. I don't think that's the case. I think the effort is one at a time. Yes, our formal educational systems have a direct opportunity to influence, but so do we, and so do I as an employer. Obviously, that's why I'm here to communicate, my opinion here and my passion for the topic. So that is the challenge I leave us. And again, thank you for the opportunity. I'm grateful to be here, and I'll end there.